Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very special Oceania Cruises webinar. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Manager here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before introducing our at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Tina White. Tina is Director of Partner Engagement and has been with Oceania since its inception. She's held several positions as Director of Sales in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeastern regions before transitioning to key and national accounts for the company. Currently, Tina oversees Oceania Cruises University, event planning, the management of the Cruise Connoisseur Program, recognizing Oceania Cruises' top accounts in North America, as well as all things related to engaging the travel advisor community. She has over 45 years of experience in the travel industry and brings a lot of passion and knowledge to her position. And with that, take it away, Tina.
Anna, thanks so much for the great introduction, and it's wonderful to be with all of you today. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I know calendars are hectic as people are traveling again and with all the changes in our industry, but I must say, I've got to start by saying we are back. Gosh, who would have thought 2 years from the time we stopped sailing in March of 2020, but April 1st, we were thrilled to be able to tell you that all 6 of our ships are back in the water, and our staff couldn't be happier to be doing what they do best, which is really fulfilling your clients' dreams and vacations on board our beautiful ships. So, you know, there might be some of you that are new to us today and some that are very experienced in selling Oceania Cruises. So the presentation is really going to blend a little bit of what's new, but also cover some basics on the Oceania brand. So I will say that we spent the last 2 years really laser focused on the product. You know, we didn't miss a beat, even though we weren't sailing. Behind the scenes, we were looking at, you know, when our ships came back to sail, what could we do to really surprise and delight our guests when they returned? So the ships are absolutely like brand new. We have spent a lot of time and effort in making sure that they look like the day they came out of the shipyard. And so we'll be going over some of those enhancements. So really excited to tell you about the things that we've been up to the last 2 years as we prepare to sail again. So, you know, I think the best place to start is talking about our points of distinction. And this is really what set the Oceania Cruises brand apart from the very beginning when we started sailing back in 2003. And those 3 pillars that we've always focused our brand on is the small ship luxury experience, working on really crafting the finest cuisine at sea. And that's why year in and year out, we win so many awards for the culinary experience on board. And also the way that we deliver the destinations that we cruise to, because after all, many cruise lines may visit the same ports, but it's how you experience that destination that I think sets us apart as a destination specialist. So I'm going to touch on each of these briefly as we go through today. But I want to start by going back to that better than ever that we were talking about. And there's a philosophy at Oceania Cruises that is the CUISINE philosophy. And for any of you that have heard that word CUISINE, it truly means a gradual and constant improvement. And that is built into our DNA at Oceania. So as I mentioned this last 2 years, you know, what have we been up to? Well, our culinary team has recrafted many of the menus on board, testing out new recipes, introducing those to all of the restaurants on board. We worked with our sommeliers behind the scenes to bring new wine tasting programs on board. So if you want to learn about, you know, the California cabs, or you want to compare, you know, American wines to French wines, there's all these very creative, exciting new wine tastings that your guests can enjoy on board. We also expanded our in-room dining. So even though we've always offered, you know, 24-hour complimentary in-room dining, now your selections have been expanded tremendously for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner. So that's very exciting. Everything from poke bowls to, you know, grilled steaks, breakfast. You can have avocado toast, both hot and cold entrees. So I think that'll be a really nice enhancement for your guests, particularly those who've sailed before, to see that expansion. Also, we introduced new solo staterooms, and that's something our travel partners have been telling us for quite some time that your guests were looking for. So I'll outline and show you where those solo staterooms are on the fleet now. And then we also just recently introduced two new shore excursion series, and one of them is called Go Green, and another is Beyond Blueprints. And as I talk about more of the sightseeing and shore excursion specialty tours as we go through, I'll try to highlight that a little bit more. But what we find is our guests are always looking for something new and different, particularly for those repeat clients who've already been to a port of call previously. So just to show you some images of our gorgeous ships, here we're looking at our Oceania class fleet, and Oceania class is made up of both the Riviera and the Marina. And we are spending millions of dollars just, people come to me and say, gosh, I was just on the ship not long ago. I saw her recently, and it doesn't look like you need to do anything. And that's true, because we don't wait until our ships look like they need to go into a dry dock. We're always looking at, modern, edgy design and what's relevant, and constantly updating the ships. And so here you see these just beautiful color tones. We're looking at some of the suite accommodations here. And then the solo staterooms that I mentioned just a little while ago, you will find solo rooms now on two different classes of ships with us. The R-class ships, which is the Regatta, the Insignia, the Nautica, and the Serena. We have converted an entire category, which used to be our obstructed view outside, which is category E, that is now a solo stateroom, and we've redesigned those staterooms to accommodate a solo. So very comfortable accommodations. They still get all those amenities like the Bulgari toiletries and the Prestige Tranquility beds. And then if you look on the right side of the screen of the slide that you're looking at, those are the new Vista solo staterooms. And Vista, of course, is our newest ship that is going to start sailing in April of 2023. And she's the first of our Allura class ships. So we're really excited. It is not a lot of singles. So I would say I think these are going to be in high demand, and you want to definitely book your clients into the solo accommodations as far out as possible. So for those that don't already know a lot about the Oceania brand and who our customer is, I just want to touch on this briefly. From the beginning, we've always focused, we've not tried to be something to everybody. The honeymoon market and the family market and the baby boomer. We know our clients are the baby boomers. They are typically 50 and above. They're active cruisers and travelers. They love international travel. They're curious. They want to learn. They want to go to new places. They typically enjoy that culinary and wine experience. They enjoy educating themselves. So it's just as much a mindset as it is an age. And they love all the variety that they bring to their vacation experience. So I know as you think about your clients and your agency, each of you have Oceania Cruises guests. And so if you were to look at where our guests tend to come from, they come from typically the premium cruise lines, I would say the most, and that's that client who's ready to step up. Maybe they want a smaller, intimate cruise experience. They don't want to travel with as many guests. They want the flexibility of, more inclusions, not being nickeled and dimed. They've heard about the amazing food that we serve on board. And so once you get them on or move them up to this upper premium niche that we are in, it's very seldom that they would ever go back. They absolutely fall in love with the experience. So it's a great stepping stone if you have those premium cruise line guests to step them up to Oceania. And it's not, I'll give you some price comparisons later, but it's a very small step and much more included. We also get that guest that has sailed the luxury lines. And they typically come to us because they see our unique itineraries. Because of the size of our ships, we're able to go to so many off the beaten path ports. They're really intrigued with our longer overnight stays. And so that is really the reason they come the first time. Once they're on board, they're amazed because of the service levels, the culinary experience. And what I would recommend is if you're moving someone from an all-inclusive luxury brand, sell them one of our suite accommodations, because number one, you're going to get the more spacious accommodations of our suites that they're accustomed to on an all-inclusive brand. And they'll also get the benefits like the 24-hour butler service, just those extra touches that luxury customer is used to receiving when they vacation. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a sense of who our guests are. Want you to keep that in the back of your mind and be thinking about guests that would fit the Oceania Cruise experience. So I hinted a little bit about the fleet, but we have 3 classes of ships. Our smallest, most intimate ships are the R-class ships that I just referenced, Regatta, Insignia, Nautica, and Serena. And they're each 656 guests. So just a really nice size to travel with. The O-class, what we call Oceania class ships, are the Marina and Riviera, and they were built and launched specifically for Oceania Cruises in 2011 and 12. And again, all of these ships I'm talking about have gone through a complete re-inspiration. And then our newest vessel will be the Vista, which is our first Allura class ship joining the fleet in April of next year. And we're already selling Vista, so she's very popular, and so pretty much anything through 2024 right now you can sell. If you've not been on board one of our ships, I think one of the first things you'll notice is that the feeling on board is really residential, from the chairs, the artwork, all of the detail in the furnishings, the carpeting, the wood paneling, even the lighting fixtures. There's so much care and attention that comes from our chairman, from our president, in handpicking these items, and you really feel it. Your guests feel it when they come aboard. It's not institutionalized. It doesn't feel, like a typical corporate hotel. It feels very comfortable and very welcoming, very much like an upscale residential home. And that carries over to your accommodations as well. I mean, because think of it, after all, your stateroom or your suite is your sanctuary. It's your home away from home when your guests are traveling with us. So we do everything to make them comfortable. In our suite accommodations, of course, you've got the 24-hour butler service. You have complimentary evening canapes. In our concierge level, you also have many added on amenities. But regardless of the category your clients choose, they're all going to benefit from the amazingly comfortable Tranquility beds, which feature 1,000-count Egyptian cotton linen sheets. And again, the vast majority of our accommodations also offer private teak verandas. So very, very comfortable. I wish I could show you each and every category, but we would be on for quite a long time. So what I would recommend, if you want to look at each of our ships, you want to look at the accommodations, we've got some beautiful material up on our website where you can view all of that, including all of our brochures all the way through the 2024 collection. The other thing I think you'll notice when guests come aboard is the experience. I mentioned earlier, they're very curious, they're well-traveled, they're well-educated, so they love the onboard enrichment series. And we try to bring aboard lecturers on or guest speakers on every single voyage. And we pair that with, depending on where we're traveling. So if our ship is cruising to Antarctica, we're going to bring on a specialist in Antarctica. We also have photography workshops. We have so many different experts, no matter what sailing your guests are joining us for. And the other thing that you'll notice is, even though the ships are smaller, they're large enough where you can still have all the activities that you'd have on a bigger ship, but on a much more personal, intimate scale. So that we have Aquamar Spa, which has everything from complimentary fitness classes, to a beautiful gym, spa, cuisine, as well as spa treatments available for your guest on board. And again, all of those classes I mentioned are complimentary, which is not the case on many other cruise lines. And you have all the entertainment. So if your guests want to go to a show, if they want to go to the casino, perhaps they want to listen to our string quartet, or they want afternoon tea up in Horizons, maybe just catch a nice read in the library. All of that is available throughout the fleet. So they're not sacrificing anything, except they're not having to wait in lines. They don't have to, fight any crowds when they're sailing with Oceania. So if I were to sum up, the small ship luxury difference, again, it's the size of our ships, it's the guest to staff ratio. I want to show you some numbers just to kind of give a comparison. So if we were to look at Oceania Cruises, average tonnage between our fleet is about 45,700 tons. Average stateroom size, you notice, is 283 square feet, and our staff to guest ratio is 1 to 1.6. And if you compare, I mean, these are all great lines, Holland, Celebrity, Princess, but I think what you're going to quickly see is, the average stateroom size is substantially greater with us. The staff to guest ratio is really where we shine, and what that translates to your guest, of course, is more personalized service. And it means that they're going to get to know them, their preferences, their likes, their first name. I will tell you just a quick little story. While we were not sailing, we interacted a lot with our past guests, from our cruise directors to our chefs. We engaged with them, and what we learned is the thing they miss most is the Oceania family. And so I can promise, when your clients come and sail with us, they're going to connect and they're going to feel that vibe on board, and that's what's going to draw them back over and over again. And it's, so you look at staff to guest ratio, and you look at it as a number, but it really means that personalized Oceania family experience that we deliver. So I want to touch just briefly on the finest cuisine at sea, and that is the hallmark of the Oceania Cruises brand. And there's a reason for that. From day one, we have partnered with Master Chef Jacques Pepin, who is just amazing. He's such a talent, and he has been very involved in the Oceania family from the beginning, and training our chefs, to even selecting the type of ovens that we outfitted the galleys with, to where we buy our flour. So for instance, we go to France and we have flour specifically milled for the breads that we make on board for those wonderful flaky croissants. The butter is sourced from Normandy, because Jacques knows that's the absolute best butter with the highest fat content that's going to make the most flaky croissant possible. So it's all that attention to detail. And so there's really three things that I think set the culinary experience apart from others. Number one is spending more money on the raw food ingredients than anyone out there, including the luxury lines. It's hiring the most talented chefs. So we'll actually go to Michelin star restaurants or some of the finest hotels in the world, and hire staff. And so they not only come from other ships of the industry, but they come from the finest resorts, hotels, and restaurants around the world. And then finally, it's the equipment. And I know that doesn't sound too, it's not in your client's mind when they're sitting and they're having that wonderful filet mignon or pasta dish in Toscana. But it's the quality of the equipment that excites our chefs, because it allows them to create the absolute finest cuisine. So those three items are truly what sets us apart. Again, I wish I had the time to go through each and every dining room, but depending on the fleet or the ship that you're on, it is going to vary somewhat. But for instance, on the regatta class ships, the smaller vessels, each of the ships has the grand dining room. You have the terrace cafe and Waves Grill, but then on top of that, you have complimentary specialty restaurants. And again, on the regatta class ships, that would be the Polo Grill, our upscale steakhouse, and also Toscana, our Italian eatery. Then when you go to some of our other vessels, we add even additional restaurants. Red Ginger is a favorite with many of our guests, which is Asian-inspired cuisine. We have Jacques, which is your typical French brasserie. And then our newest ship, Vista, is also going to offer some more exciting venues for your guests to enjoy. So each restaurant has its own kind of personality and feel. I personally love Asian cuisine, so Red Ginger is one of my favorites. But if you can imagine, your guests come in to dine. Again, I mentioned no charge. You do make reservations, but if they want a table for two, we'll sit them at a table for two. If they want to join others, we can do that. So they make reservations, no charge, And then every dinner is truly an experience. And one of the things I love the most at Red Ginger is they have this tea service. So in between your entree and dessert, they bring out this beautiful forte tea, and you have the selection of teas that they custom make for Oceania Cruises, all with a little Asian twist, and they serve you the teas before dessert. You even get a chopstick menu when you first come into the dining room, where you're presented with several different beautiful chopsticks. Each one looks like a piece of art, and our guests can choose their chopsticks. So it's all about the experience that makes for a great, great evening. Now, on 3 of our ships, actually let me back up, on Marina, 2 of our ships, on Marina and Riviera, we have a space called La Reserve. And La Reserve, think of it like a wine tasting venue. In the evenings, maybe 2 or 3 times during a select voyage, we will host a perfect wine pairing dinner or champagne pairing event. The champagne dinner is in partnership with Dom Perignon. So you're drinking some of the finest bubbly in the world that's carefully paired with each course. There is a cost for this, and it's not because of the food, but it's because of the wines and or the champagnes that we're pouring. And it is a wonderful event. It is reserved for just 24 people. Something that I would recommend, if you know you have clients that are into food and wine, have them book this in advance and have that space reserved. But it's really a beautiful setting. So again, to kind of tie back to the finest cuisine at sea and why we feel so confident in saying that, if you look at the Oceania Cruises fleet, again, in comparison to the premium lines, look at the number of specialty restaurants. Think about the size of our ships compared to some of the much, much larger premium lines. And yet we offer 10 specialty restaurants on average. All of our dining is complimentary, so your clients are not going to be nickeled and dimed if they want to go to a specialty restaurant. And just like the main menu items, the variety that we offer is amazing. It's open seating dining and also complimentary 24-hour room service. Again, more inclusions. If you have clients that love to cook, we have hands-on cooking schools on 3 of our ships, on Marina, on Riviera, as well as on Vista. We have a professionally designed wine tasting center on board. We have the most expansive vegan and vegetarian options of any cruise ship out there. Certainly the plant-based is something that is growing and actually near and dear to several of our chefs who over the last several years have expanded that tremendously on board our ships. And every single plate is cooked to order. And that's something you can't do when you're traveling with thousands and thousands of other guests, to actually what we call a la minute, or prepare every single dish to order for your clients. So I'm now going to switch to our 3rd pillar, which is curated travel experiences. And when we say that, what we mean is that we focus on the destination, because how your clients experience the ports we visit makes all the difference in the world. And with our fleet of 6 and now growing to 7 ships next year, we truly cruise the globe. We visit all continents, including Antarctica. And we move the ships with the season. So in the summer months, we have the majority of our ships in Europe, cruising both the Mediterranean and Northern Europe. We're also in Alaska with the 656 passenger regatta, and we also sail the Eastern Seaboard. And then in the winter months, we have a ship in South America, another in Africa and India, another in Asia, Australia, South Pacific, and then Caribbean and Panama Canal. So we truly cover it all, with voyages that range anywhere from 7 days all the way up to 180 days around the world with our around the world voyage. But let's go back, and I mentioned the curated travel experience, and that we're destination specialists. And think about it, with a small ship, you're coming into these ports that you couldn't get to necessarily with much larger ships. So when we visit these boutique ports, you're able to get on and off the ship without the crowds. Even if we have a Tinder experience, it's just seamless. So our guests really love that they have that access to so many places. And then we craft our itineraries so we blend these marquee ports like Barcelona and Bangkok and Bali with very off the beaten path. Like the Cinque Terre in Italy, for instance, is a place that is very hard to access with a larger ship. It's very easy with the size of our ships to do that. So again, you visit without the crowds, you blend those marquee and boutique ports, and then we craft the itineraries so you have more time in port with overnight stays in many, many destinations around the globe. And then the other thing that we do is we have so many guests that have been, let's say they've been to Rome umpteen times, but they want to sail, they want to go back to the Mediterranean, but now they want to experience it in a different way. And so we've created 3,000 plus excursions and a whole series of specialty tours. So a very popular series that we offer is our Go Local tours. And this is where you go in a small group and we take you beyond the sites, but to really meet the local people. So you might actually be making pasta in somebody's home, or you might go on a farm for a day and see how they herd the sheep or how they produce the milk, or you might join the local fishermen. You might learn the local language. So it's something that has been extremely well received by our guests. We also offer culinary discovery tours where you can get off the ship and learn how to cook a dish led by one of our teaching chefs. So again, I think no matter what your clients are looking for, we have something that will appeal to them. And I'm going to give you just a few examples as we go through I mean, with 3,000, it was hard to pick just a few, but here's a great example of one of our Go Local tours. And this is offered outside of Rome in the countryside. And we actually go to a farm. And here, a lot of people think it's the pigs or hogs, right, that sniff out the truffles. But these are dogs that are bred to sniff out the truffles. And what's different here is they don't destroy the truffles. They can find them, and they very carefully can show the farmers where they are. And then we collect these truffles and we go back and we create this wonderful meal with pasta and of course truffle on everything. And so it's really fun to actually go out on the farm and collect the truffles with the farmers and then enjoy this wonderful, wonderful meal. I mentioned earlier the Go Green. This is a brand new series. It's so new, it was just announced a few weeks ago. And so in many ports, we are now offering the Go Green series. And so here, this one I believe is in Copenhagen, and you go to again, another farm, and you see how in an urban setting, they are cultivating bees and making honey right in the city. And so they're actually, they have the hives in the city. So it's really, really interesting. And so for someone kind of interested in the whole Go Green aspect, I think that'll be really a popular addition for them. This is an experience that we offer in the Caribbean, and it is a chocolate experience at Bois Côtelette. And you go and you learn how to taste the chocolates. It's almost like a wine tasting where you have the tasting wheel, and they teach you how to differentiate between, you know, do you taste cinnamon, do you taste vanilla? And so you'll do this tasting, and then you'll actually make your own chocolates, and you get to choose your own ingredients. And of course, you get to enjoy some of those chocolates along the way. This is offered in Dominica. And again, I'm showing you some of the more unique experiences that your clients can have. Of course, if they just want to go to the beach in the Caribbean, they can do that as well. But we're trying to give guests just more opportunities. The other thing we find is for our health conscious clients and our spa goers, we have a whole series of wellness discovery tours by Aquamar Spa. And this is an example in Spain, outside of La Coruña, Spain, where you can go hiking for the day on the old St. James Trail. Beautiful coastline, a great workout. And so we find a lot of our guests are more active. You'll find a lot of bicycling tours offered. You know, you can go bicycling in Amsterdam. You can go bicycling in Copenhagen, and so many places that we visit. So I know that was just a few of the 3,000 we offer. All of the excursions can be found online. And so if you go to any particular itinerary, perhaps a client is looking at Ireland immersion that we're looking at right now, on the website, you simply click on that itinerary, and there's a whole section on excursions. It'll let you know if it's a specialty tour, the activity level, is it a small group tour with only 16 guests? Do they want a private car and driver? All that is at your fingertips on the website. So again, with our limited time, I'm only going to highlight a couple of itineraries, and it was mainly just to say that no matter what your guests are looking for, if they want to focus in and specialize just in one area, that's what this itinerary is doing. It's really immersing in Ireland. They can do that. They also can go to the entire other extreme and visit multiple continents in one itinerary. So the shortest is going to be 7 days, our longest 180, and everything in between. Here I'm highlighting another itinerary. I chose this one because it seems like Iceland right now is really hot. Seems to be on everybody's bucket list. And so this is a fairly new itinerary for Oceania, where you're visiting 4 different ports of call in Iceland, before going over to the Faroe Islands and visiting the British Isles with Scotland, and then over to Antwerp, Belgium, and London. Again, this is a 12-day voyage. And this is just a sample. We have many others similar, with maybe a little bit of a nuance. Here's a great Mediterranean itinerary visiting the Holy Lands. So if someone's already done, the typical Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, maybe they want to do something a little bit different. This one starts in Rome and ends in Istanbul, but it actually offers 3 full days in Jerusalem with overnights as well. Here's a Caribbean, and I wanted to show you this because not all the Caribbean, in my mind, is the same. And so to me, Oceania offers you the boutique islands of the Caribbean and on smaller, more intimate ships. And so we do sail from Miami. This particular voyage is 12 days, and you won't see us doing the same itinerary week in and week out. So they're not what I would call cookie cutter itineraries. They're constantly moving around and going to different islands, different lengths of time. But I thought this itinerary was a great option for the deeper Caribbean. And also, we will have the Riviera for the very first time based in the Caribbean. And I believe that's starting in the 2024 season. So that's a first to have one of our beautiful Oceania class ships based right out of Miami. And then a little bit more exotic, here's an example of a South American itinerary for 29 days, and that starts in Santiago, Chile, and goes all the way to Rio de Janeiro. Again, this is a great example of combining what we were talking about, those marquee ports like Rio and Buenos Aires and Santiago, with smaller ports of call, and then also cruising Patagonia. And I thought I'd show you one other more exotic. We have numerous what we call grand voyages, and one of the trends that we've seen since the pandemic is, people couldn't travel for 2 years, and they were going stir crazy, and they want to get out there and they want to see the world again. And so when we started opening the books, a couple things. Number one, they started booking much, much further out, oftentimes planning 2 and 3 trips all at the same time. And they started to book longer voyages. So these itineraries typically are made up from back-to-back cruises. And again, we have these all over the world. They sell further out, and they are more popular than ever. So hopefully there's something here that has sort of piqued your interest, but all of our itineraries can be found online, as well as our electronic brochures or our printed brochures. I would be remiss if I didn't go back to that destination specialty that we started with, and really saying that we give clients the ability to experience a destination differently. So I chose an itinerary, but we can do this almost anywhere that we cruise. Here we're comparing one of our regatta class ships, 656 guests, with a premium cruise line. So first of all, it's a much smaller vessel. We're comparing one of our 14-day cruises with a premium cruise line. 14-day cruise. And I would highly recommend, if you're trying to sell up and move clients from that premium sector to upper premium, that you compare itineraries with your clients and show them how many ports are they going to visit on that 14 days. So a Mediterranean itinerary isn't always the same. When you really dig in and you look at the numbers, with Oceania in this example, we're visiting 12 ports instead of 10. You have 2 overnight stays instead of 1. You have 2 late evening departures instead of just 1. Less sea days because we're known to be port intensive, and total number of hours in port 118. So when you show that to your clients when they're shopping and they don't maybe know Oceania yet, this is a great tool to help them understand the difference of a destination cruise line. So I'm going to switch for a moment to the value proposition, because we do build in more value as an upper premium cruise line. So just to give you an overview, on every single voyage, you'll notice the inclusive amenities. So we always include complimentary internet, those specialty restaurants, 24-hour room service, those shuttles. What that means is when the port is in a, let's say the ship is in a port like Marseille, and the medieval city center is, a few kilometers down the road, we're going to provide complimentary shuttles from the ship to the city centers. And we do that in over 90 ports around the world. Complimentary fitness classes, sparkling and still Vero water. So we got rid of the plastic bottles on our ships quite some time ago. So we're proud to offer Vero water, as well as complimentary soft drinks, specialty coffees, and free laundry. Now you couple that with O-Life Choice. O-Life Choice is in an amenity program where your clients can bundle in. We offer free air, and they get a choice of either free shore excursions, a free alcoholic beverage package, or a free shipboard credit. And when you think about that's available in every category on every published departure, it really does add up. Now, I can't see you as an audience, but I bet if I were to ask a question and have you raise your hands, I think everyone on this call would say that they belong to a consortium today. I can't remember when I was in the field of working with an agency that didn't belong to a consortium. And with your consortium relationship, you have the benefit of select sailings where you can offer free prepaid gratuities. And that combines with what I just showed you. So when you start to combine O-Life Choice with your agency's select departures with gratuities, those amenities add up to a lot for your clients. So our philosophy is not to discount the price, it's to give your clients more value. And that's a win-win for you and for us, because it's going to maintain the commissions that you're earning, and it's going to preserve the price integrity of our brand. An average value of shipboard credit is about $384 per stateroom. So if you don't know how to access those exclusive amenity dates, you can reach out to our sales team and they can share that with you. They can show you where to access that on our website. They can send you digital calendars or voyage calendars that show you the list of dates based on your consortium relationship. So I wanted to show you again, just when we do that math and you start to look at the value of what we just talked about, the amenity value of the prepaid gratuities is that first column that you see boxed out. But what you may not be aware of is if you sell X number of people, and that would be a minimum of 8 staterooms into a single departure date, you can earn an award value on those amenity departures. So if you don't know if, maybe you have a group, but you're not sure if it's going to really be an affinity group, and so you don't want to take the risk of blocking your own group space and getting that minimum, you can always book into your amenity partnership program through your consortium. We'll track everything for you. And if you book those 8 staterooms, you're going to earn an award value, and it's almost like a bonus commission. We're going to pay that out with your commission. So take a look at those numbers. That can really add to your profitability. And again, a group is as little as 8 staterooms. It could be a friends and family group. It could just be individuals that you book at the agency that don't even know each other, and you can still earn those award values. So to switch gears, just want to share some of the ways that we want to engage with you and partner with you. We have a very seasoned sales team out there, and we want to partner and help you build your book of business with us. And there's a lot of ways to do that. I wish I had more time to delve in each of these, but I just want to touch on a few. Number one, whenever we launch a new season, those are some of our busiest booking days that you will ever see. And so get in sync, work with our sales team, find out when we're doing a season launch. They will help you to market that to your clients in advance. We truly break all records on those launch days. The other thing to keep in mind is every quarter we raise prices. So if a date is selling briskly, and the market right now has been very, very strong, we raise prices. So our next price change is going to be on July 1st. So we can give you marketing tools to help you sell and market to your clients before that price increase. We can work with you on direct mail opportunities. Our sales team is available to do either virtual or in-person consumer events. And I already briefly mentioned the Amenity Partnership Program, but we also have marketing tools to help you perhaps choose a few dates and actively promote those dates. The other thing I would strongly suggest is blend your market strategy. And this is something we're coming away, after the pandemic, and as people are starting to travel, we're seeing every extreme. So you can leverage close in by leveraging some of our close in holiday sales. And I'll give you an example of that just momentarily. You can also book the longer term because clients are also booking further out than they ever had. So for example, we just launched 2024 just about a month ago, not even a month ago. And so you can sell all the way through the end of 2024 with Oceania. Now is the time when they can lock in the best price, the best itinerary. And then we have that mid-range 2023. So the most successful agencies are doing all of those at once. A close-in offer, just as an example, would be something like a Memorial Day sale, which we're just about to launch. Here you can see we're going to be doing category upgrades, and that will be, I don't believe it's actually just coming out as we speak. So definitely take advantage of that. And going back to this calendar, because I just wanted to kind of show you, you can sit with our sales team and plan your marketing calendars, because they know already in August, we're going to be launching our 2025 Around the World sailing. They know in October that we're going to be launching our 2025 winter collection. And so we can actually map out tools almost every quarter of what we can be focusing on together, how we can be supporting you with our marketing funds to be the most successful. And I think I just mentioned momentarily that we recently launched 2024, and indeed it was another one of those record-breaking booking days for Oceania Cruises. So I know I've talked about a lot of different things. I think what I'll leave you with is that we want to engage with you. So please connect with us, become what we call an Oceania Insider. Once you become an Oceania Insider, you will receive our weekly digital newsletter that tells you about upcoming events, all of our sales. That's where you're going to find out about the Memorial Day sale, our launches, our special events. Go onto our website. Once you're registered on the website, you can go to Oceania Cruises University and take courses. And those courses are being updated all the time. And once you complete a certain level of courses, we're going to gift you with bonus commission certificates that is like extra bonus for you. And then we have a marketing portal that has a plethora of different turnkey marketing tools, everything from social media content to banner ads to HTMLs to PDF flyers. So again, we're here to support your efforts. Our sales team is here to support your efforts. And I think with that, let's go ahead. And actually, I have one more slide to show just some samples of some of those pieces I just mentioned, the social content, the emails, the pre-made customizable flyers. But with that, now let's turn it back over to Anna for any questions that I didn't answer or that you might have for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have just a couple questions. I think you covered so much information. Our first question is from Corinne, who is wondering if you can do a brief overview of accessible cabins on board Oceania.
Yes, we do have accessible staterooms on board Oceania. I will be honest, our more recent builds have more, because if you go back to our inception, the Regatta-class ships we acquired from another cruise line initially. So we have a limited number of accessible accommodations in the G inside category. But once you get to the Oceania class and the Vista class, we have a multitude of different categories with accessibility, and you can actually see the deck plans, and those are indicated to you. So you could go online and look by vessel and or in our brochures, and you'll see that. Hope I answered that
Got
question.
it. Yes, perfect. Our next question, actually, Linda is wondering if you could go back a couple slides to the QR code slide.
Right, yes, I probably went through that a little too fast, didn't I? And this will actually, yeah, you're welcome.
And actually, I think we just have one more question from Ronera, who is wondering if there are any excursion packages offered.
There are excursion packages. So your clients can book excursions up to 365 days in advance. And we have several packages. There's one called the Passport Collection, and there's one called the Unlimited Passport Collection. And based on the number of tours on the length of your itinerary, for instance, we may say, okay, if you book a minimum of 5 tours, then we're going to offer you a 20% discount on all the excursions you purchase. So you can actually access both the Passport and the Unlimited Collection on our website when you're searching those itineraries. And you can also read more of the details about that in a reference guide that we have called the Curated Travel Brochure. And you can download that reference guide right from the Travel Advisor Center.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. And those are all of our questions. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, Tina, for all of the wonderful information.
Thanks, Anna. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.